Hey everybody, Harrison1 back at it once again for a brand new video for you, and welcome to a slightly late but still highly relevant American Grand Prix race review. Race 19 of the 20 race season. I must admit, I had question marks going into this race about how it was going to hold up and how it was going to fare. I think F1 2012 hasn't done the track justice. I think the track came off very well during Formula 1 this weekend. I think it's a great track. I think the fans were great. The atmosphere was great. The big names there had added a little nice sense of drama and feel. And just overall, I really enjoyed the race. It was a great race. The story of this race was pretty simple. It was Hamilton versus Vettel. Simple as that. For once, Red Bull dominated every session, but McLaren's race pace was pretty much identical to Red Bull. I mean, McLaren, I don't think Hamilton and Vettel were any more than 4 seconds apart from each other at any point during the entire race. It was that close. It was just superb from both Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. A great drive. Vettel was ahead for about 2/3 of the race. I think with about 15 laps to go, Hamilton finally got close enough to be able to pass Sebastian Vettel, and that was enough to get him the race win. Vettel just less than a second behind by the time they crossed the line in the end. Vettel never gave up, always pushed hard, had the fastest lap of the race right at the end as well. Just a fantastic race from the front too, and it's just in a league of their own above everybody else on the track. But the big controversy was Ferrari's tactics. They're doing everything in their power to try and prolong the world title race one more time into Brazil, the final race of the season this weekend. And they did that by, well, let's put it this way, Alonso qualified 8th. He was going to start on the dirty side of the grid. To counter this, they deliberately tampered with Felipe Massa's gearbox. Doing that by breaking the seal, Massa had to take a 5th-place grid drop. So instead of him starting 6th, having out-qualified his teammate, he now was starting 11th, pushing Alonso up to 7th and onto the clean side of the track. And it worked out quite nicely, because after one corner, Alonso's lightning starts would come into play once again, as he would park the car up to 4th place and eventually finish 3rd. So as you can do the math, you can work it out already now that it's all gone down to Brazil. The conditions were if Vettel won, Alonso had to have come 4th or better to take the title race to Brazil, and obviously he did just that. A great drive from Felipe Massa despite having to start from P11. He made a strategy work for him. He showed some fantastic pace across the track, across most of the race as a matter of fact. Did a really good job to get the car into 4th place, and another great Massa drive from him. Jenson Button, one of my drivers of the day as well, another great drive from Jenson. He had to start down the order. He started on the harder of the 2 compounds, only one of 2 guys to do that, but he found some real pace in the tyres. They were going almost identically to the medium-based option tyre, and he had a great race, ended up finishing in 5th place. Jenson just rock solid as usual, and just fantastic. Kimi Raikkonen, another very solid finish in 6th place for him. A real driver of the season contender, which I'll get to in Brazil, because I've got something big to announce there. If you've been reading my Facebook page, you know what's coming. But I'll get to that later. Romain Grosjean in 7th place for Lotus. Maybe if he didn't have a spin earlier on in the race, he would have finished higher up the order still, but I think that's another very solid drive for the Frenchman. In 8th, Nico Hülkenberg for Force India. 9th, Pastor Maldonado in the points again for Williams, and his partner, Bruno Senna, in 10th. Real disappointing weekend for the 2 Saubers, considering how much faster they were going to be. There were 40,000 Mexicans there, all for Sergio Perez. Didn't work out in the end. Number 11, 11th place for Perez, and 14th for Kamui Kobayashi. Daniel Ricciardo 12th, Nico Rosberg 13th, like I said, Kobayashi 14th, the rest are 15th. Not a good weekend for the Mercedes. Like I said, Rosberg 13th, Michael Schumacher down in 16th after he qualified 5th, just had no pace whatsoever. Vitaly Petrov 17th, Fauke Kovalainen 18th, Glock, Peak, De La Rosa, and Carter Kane gets the wooden spoon for 22nd. The two retirements were Mark Webber, who I believe had a electrical problem. Again, somebody in the comments would always correct me on this just because they feel they have to. And John-Eric Verne was the other retirement. World Championship standings, well, what else do you really need to know? We all know who it's down to. It's Sebastian Vettel on 273 versus Fernando Alonso on 260. It's a 13-point lead for Sebastian Vettel with one race to go. The basic math is simple. Fernando Alonso has to get on the top 3 to have any chance of winning the world title. All Sebastian Vettel has to do is finish in 3rd. 3rd place for Vettel, and no matter what Alonso does, it's game over. I'm sure you guys can work out the positions in your head, but that's the most simple explanation I can give you. If Alonso doesn't come 3rd, game over. If Vettel gets on the podium, game over. Everything else is up in the air. And with that, I believe that's just about it. Let me know what you thought of the American Grand Prix. Of course, let me know what you thought about Ferrari's tactics and the tampering gearbox. Again, a great scrap between Hamilton and Vettel, the 2 best drivers in the world. And another fun fact for you. This was the first time ever that Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton all shared the same podium for the first time in Sebastian Vettel's 100 race career. And of course, one last thing to mention, congratulations to Red Bull for winning the Constructors' Championship for the 3rd straight year, triple Constructors World Champions. The Red Bull team is an amazing unit. I've seen them work at Milton Keynes, they do a tremendous job, and they've had to work so hard to make that car what it is now, which is obviously a definitive and perennial race challenger. And they were struggling early on, but they got better and better as the season went on, and as you can see, it's now reaped the dividends for them as they're now Constructors Champions for the 3rd year running. So congratulations to the Red Bull team for that fantastic achievement. I believe that's the first time ever a team has won 3 straight Constructors Championships in their first 4 seasons. And like I said, I'll leave you to that. The big question, who takes the world title in Brazil? Is it Sebastian Vettel? Or is it Fernando Alonso? I've been Harrison101. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.
Jensen's giving it everything. He's just put up the fastest lap of the race. There's not much between you and the car behind, just 2 seconds. Awesome, truly awesome. What a win.